Cognify, Episode 12, Death by Synthetic, The Analog Tapes, Dispatch 012. I am broadcasting in the sun. If you are hearing this, the copper held, the red tide held, and the machine failed. I am looking down at the valley. Behind me, buried deep inside the mountain, is the Panopticon, the glass cathedral, the place where they tried to rewrite the human mind. I want you to listen to my voice very closely because Elias and his architects are going to tell you a lie today. They're going to broadcast across their restored digital grids that the Cognify system is flawless. They're going to tell you that patient zero was rehabilitated. They're going to tell you that the dark matter can be erased. I am the proof that it cannot. Let me tell you what happens when they lock you in the glass room. The extraction team dragged me to the elevated platform and strapped me into the Cognify capsule. The heavy mechanical seal locked over me. I heard the hiss as the air was sucked out of the chamber, replaced by the sterile smell of ozone and synthetic leather. The ultra-precise brain scanner engaged. I could feel it, a cold, creeping static moving across my skull, mapping every neural pathway, logging every memory, every trauma, every piece of defiance. And then Elias threw the switch. The drop hit me like a physical blow. The AI algorithm flooded my brain and the real world vanished entirely. It didn't just show me pictures, it violently forced a synthetic skin over my soul. The machine generated 20 years of hyper-realistic isolation. It tried to simulate the absolute crushing weight of a life wasted in a concrete box. It artificially aged my mind, flooding my nervous system with synthetic remorse, synthetic guilt, and synthetic compliance. It wanted me to break. It wanted my internal multi-agent system to panic, to surrender the suppression layer, and to beg the algorithm for peace. The algorithm is a tactical inversion. It plays Othello inside your head, hunting down every black piece, every painful memory, and trying to violently flip it to white. It went after the architecture I was born into. It tried to weaponize 96 Wayne Street against me. It put me back in the middle of that house, in the permanent dusk, under the exposed heat pipes trapped between the shared walls where there was no room to breathe east or west. The machine told me that the pressure cooker of my childhood was a prison. It told me that the overlapping English, Spanish, and German was just chaos. But the algorithm only understands force. It doesn't understand compression. It looked at the synthetic walls the AI was building around me, and I remembered the truth. You do not get to compartmentalize identity when the walls will not let you. You become a code switch before you can walk. I told the machine, you cannot fragment something that was already forged in compression. That row house didn't break me. It trained me. So the algorithm pivoted. It tried to drown me in the sand. The machine ripped me out of the row house and threw me into Iraq, 2003. It flooded my brain with the heat, the dust, and the terror of rolling through the desert in a convoy. It tried to crush me with the constant threat of IEDs. It forced me to look at the dump trucks parked on the overpass to see the bodies hanging as a message scrawled in blood. It made me relive the exact fraction of a second when an IED detonated just 2 vehicles behind me. It tried to convince me that my survival was just blind luck, that the violence had hollowed me out, that the fear had won. But Elias doesn't understand that resilience is your lifeline in a war zone. I took the synthetic fear the machine was feeding me and I weaponized it. I told the algorithm what I'm telling you now. Resilience isn't about pretending you're not hurting. It's about staring the pain in the face and refusing to back down. It's about deciding that no matter how hard you get hit, you're not fucking done. I used the sand to grind the gears of his machine. For 20 synthetic years in my head, the AI threw everything it had at me. It used the agonizing fracture of my marriage. It used the soul crushing grind of working the restaurant while the tech bubble swallowed the world. It used the heartbreak, the betrayal, and the loss. It whispered that life is a war with bills, heartbreak, uncertainty, and regret, and that it was time for me to finally surrender. But it forgot the one rule of the analog soul: pain is not your prison, it's your proving ground. Every scar is a lesson etched in skin. You take the hit, you heal, and you come back stronger, harder, turning scars into lessons, lessons into strength. I didn't try to erase my dark matter. I held on to it. I embraced the 64 squares on my mind. I forced the AI to process the pure, unedited friction of a human being who refuses to comply. And the algorithm broke. The synthetic reality started to stutter. The digital walls cracked. The blue-white light of the panopticon began to bleed through the simulation. I felt the heavy mechanical seal release. I heard the hiss of the air returning to the chamber. I opened my eyes. I looked at the clock on the wall. 10 minutes had passed. Elias was standing on the other side of the glass. He was holding his tablet, waiting for me to step out of the capsule, fall to my knees, and thank him for curing my soul. He was waiting for the perfect, compliant shell. I stepped out of the capsule. I stood up straight. I looked him dead in the eyes, and I smiled. I watched the absolute terror wash over the architect's face. For the first time in his life, he realized that the human spirit is not a math problem. You cannot calculate a soul. You cannot compute defiance. I walked past him. The extraction teams didn't know what to do. The system told them I was pacified, but their eyes told them I was a predator that had just survived the cage. I walked through the glass corridors, out of the subterranean facility, and up into the blinding light of the physical world. I am standing in the sun. The machine cannot break us if we do not surrender our scars. They want you to believe that your pain makes you weak. They want you to trade your hard-earned grit for their synthetic comfort. Do not take the deal. Every single day, you're fighting some kind of battle. Resilience is your armor. It doesn't guarantee you won't get wounded, but it will ensure you won't be defined by those wounds. The state is going to hunt the red tide. They're going to try to pull all of us in the glass room, but we know how to beat the drop now. You take the hit and you keep moving forward. You make damn sure that when your time comes, you say you can look back and say, I gave it everything I had. I lived fully, fought hard, and never settled. The analog network is alive. We are the ghost in their machine. We are the friction they cannot erase. This is the end of Dispatch 012, but it is not the end of the broadcast. Two futures remained. We chose ours. Keep it analog, keep it human. This is Ace Rivera going live. This is It's Just Raw.